Rise and Energize Her Morning Show is brought to you by Mogul TV Global Network, the number one streaming TV network for positive programming in the Mid Atlantic. To learn how you can energize your business and brand with media, visit www.themogulchannel.com. Calling all authors. Take your book beyond the book launch. Amplify your reach, boost your sales, and become the author everyone is talking about. We are celebrating phenomenal authors throughout the month of November 2024. So, what are you waiting for? Unleash your book's power by scanning the QR code or going to the site on your screen.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Mind Your Business. I am Ivori Claire. Y'all, it's Friday. It is Friday. It is Friday. It is Friday. It is Friday. Y'all, just give yourselves a round of applause for making it to Friday. Yes, look, I did like a little shake. Hey, y'all, for making it to Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Friday. Y'all, this is Mind Your Business where we focus on you. That's what it is. Your focus is on you to be a better version of you. That's all that is. We're not out here surviving, but we are out here thriving. But before we even get started, what I like to do is I like to take 3 deep breaths in and out. If you're in a car, y'all be safe. Please be safe. But if you're in a safe space, go ahead and fully commit. We're going to do this all together. You ready? Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. I don't know about y'all, but that feels good to me every single time. Because sometimes we just got to breathe. Sometimes we don't need to even say anything, but just breathe. So on Minding Your Business, this is where I just give y'all some tips or some strategies to help you into your daily life and things that I do in my own personal life. So I'm not telling y'all anything that I'm not out here doing, okay? So if you tuned in last week, first of all, thank you for tuning in. But if you didn't, go back and look at the video. But we talked about, what it looked like to this daydream, like to daydream for you to become the best version of you. Like what it looked like. That's what we talked about last week, okay? But this week we're going to talk about just letting things go. Because in order for you to become the best version of you, you got to let some things go. You got to let some things go because some things are just blocking you to become the better version of you or the best version of you. It's just blocking it. So what I have done in my personal life, what I have done, and I'm just going to, like I said, I'm teaching you just little things that I've done in my personal life is the things that I want to let go. Like it could be anything. It could be bad habits. It could be people. It could be, just talking negative. Anything you can think of, right? What I did was I wrote it on a separate piece of paper, like each thing on a separate piece of paper. You can write a list or you can write it on a piece of paper separately. And after that, I folded it up. Okay, I folded it up real good because I'm really committing it to this. I want to release because sometimes we are sabotaging our own selves because we're holding on to things that we just need to just let go. Let go because it's not serving us. It's not serving us. So what I did after I wrote everything down, y'all, my list was long because it's things I just needed to let go. Just, for my own good. I just needed to let go. So I wrote things down. I wrote it on a separate piece of paper. And I have a like a fire pit in my backyard. And what I did was I burned it in the fire pit because I just wanted to release some things. You can flush it down the toilet. You can just ball it up and just throw it away. Or you can just just write it down just to release it. Just the things that you want to commit and you want to let go. Anything that you want to let go, you can be creative. Like I've even had let go parties. Like I've actually had like let go parties. You can be creative, but the key thing is that the things that you need to let go that no longer serves you, that no longer serves you. So that is what I have for you on this segment of minding your business this week. Is this letting things go, letting things go, because it's not serving you. It's not serving you. And that's how you become the better version of you, the best version of you. And that's all I have today. And mind your business. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next week.
Happy Friday, ladies. It is time to make your move. No more self doubt, no more procrastination, no more thinking your time has come and passed. Today is the day that you get to decide if you're going to work towards becoming who you were called to be or miss out on the blessings God has for your life. So join Make Your Move University and be surrounded by like-minded and life-minded women. Learn how to grow and scale your business while keeping your morals high and your edges intact. Make Your Move University has courses, community, and challenges to keep you inspired, empowered, and energized to keep going. Join during October 2024 for only $5 a month and get ready to play full out in this last quarter of 2024. And today I am going to be speaking to one amazing, phenomenal young lady, okay? Her name is Madison Masterson. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Madison, okay? May shock some of you, but it's okay. It is okay. So, as a 25-year-old social media influencer and CEO, Madison Masterson is one of the top ranked influencer marketing professionals in Tampa, Florida. She started working as a social media creator at only 14 years old, originally focusing on spreading awareness for mental health and disabilities. And today we're going to have a conversation about why, the how, the what. We're going to have a conversation about all of that as we speak to Miss Madison. So, welcome, Madison. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here as well. So listen, a lot of people are wanting to know 25. We put such life experiences at an older age. Like you haven't gone through anything, sit down, you're too young to have lived life, right? I'm just saying what I've been told along the way. Like you haven't experienced anything until you live a little longer. No, we all go through things at our own pace in our lives. So it doesn't have to be when you think we should, experience certain things. So please let's talk about the mental health of it all. When you began at 14 years old creating social media content to bring awareness to mental health and disabilities, why did you do that? What was the purpose behind you doing that?
Yeah, so around the time I was 14 years old, I was a freshman in high school, as we all are. I had been going through bullying for a long time throughout my life. I pretty much always had bullies, always was getting targeted, never understood why. Still don't really understand why. But around 14, things started to change for me a lot. Not only was I struggling with getting bullied, struggling with mental health, I was also struggling with seizures. So around the time I was 14, I started having about 5 seizures a day.
Mhm.
And I would get sent to a nurse office without a nurse. They would never come and check on me. Actually, looking back on this now, I think the school should have gotten in big
Wow.
trouble for that.
Yes.
But my family found out about this and they said, this is not happening. This is dangerous. And they actually pulled me out of traditional high school and put me into a program called hospital homebound schooling. So I was in this program with mostly either terminal patients or children with lifelong disabilities, such as myself. Around this time, I kind of went into the lowest low I had ever had. And I know at 14 years old, that doesn't sound like much, but I had actually been diagnosed with my first mental health condition around the time I was 8 years old. So I had been already struggling with mental health issues for what felt like quite a few years at the
Yeah.
time. So at that time, I really started struggling. I was at the lowest I had ever been after getting bullied, starting to have seizures that are actually in the part of my brain that causes emotions. Part of the brain that causes emotions. There's
Wow.
multiple. So I was just feeling awful. And my way of coping at the time was to go to social media, which was something that was still fairly new.
Yeah.
Influencers were unheard of unless you were Kim Kardashian or a celebrity. And I
Hmm.
started spreading my story and trying to build a community around bullying awareness, mental health awareness, and allowing other people to know that not only they weren't alone, but to tell myself that I wasn't alone. And this was something that I could get through.
I love that. I love that you found a way to talk. You found a way to
Yeah.
talk because I do know that when we are going through mental health challenges, we sometimes just go back in our little shell and not say anything to anybody about anything at all. But the fact that you were brave enough, even as a young girl, to actually put it on social media, to talk about it on social media, to bring more awareness to mental health, disabilities, not just for your journey, but for others as well. So you were an advocate, okay? You were an advocate for others to have a space, have an open space to feel like, okay, this is my life, right? And it may not be the best life that I would want for myself, but it's still a life. So thank you for sharing that. And I too, when I was younger, experienced something traumatic in life that will definitely cause, you to have those mental health or those mental wellness challenges. And so thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being open to sharing that part of yourself, that part of your journey. So now that you have, you started on that content creation journey, how did it morph into you now, in your business? How does it play a part in your business now?
Definitely. So after that time, when I started posting on social media, creating and building up a community around mental health, bullying awareness, things like that, a couple other things that I was talking about at the time, um, I I remember I went to this particular doctor for my epilepsy. It was a neurologist, a pediatric neurologist, and that neurologist told me that what I was experiencing at that point in my life was pretty much all that I would be able to.
Oh, wow.
And they were telling me that there was no way that I would be able to go to college. There was no way I'd be able to kind of experience all of those things that I dreamed of. And at this point too, it was something that I felt like had to happen to be successful in any way. People had been pushing that down Gen Z's throat and millennials throat so much, like, you got to go to college. If you don't go
Mm-hmm.
to college, nothing's happening. And that just threw me into a deep, deep depression. And I remember I actually found this program at Harvard University when I was 16 years old, 17 years old, around there. And I applied for the program. I got into the program, and I actually ended up going to the program and going to Harvard for a summer studying. After that, my hospital homebound program found out about it, and they said, well, if you can go to Harvard, you can go back to school.
Wow.
And a moment that should have been so great for me ended up being so bad, because they were going to send me back to that school filled with bullies that had already mentally affected me, that still mentally affect me to this day at 25
Mm-hmm.
years old.
Yeah.
And luckily I ended up getting to go to a different school for my senior year. I actually got into a university, ended up going to the University of South Florida, things that so many doctors told me would be impossible. And I actually ended up originally going for dance. So I've always been a very classically trained person, very creative, and I was going to school for ballet. So I went to school for ballet, sadly ended up tearing my ACL, such a
Oh,
journey,
wow.
and had
Wow.
no idea what to do. One of the first things that came to my mind was to take a business class. I was like, I've always loved entrepreneurship. I've always done entrepreneurship in a way. I started getting brand deals, working with companies, freelancing when I was 15-ish years old, 14 years old. And I went to my first business class ever. I'll never forget it. Was basic marketing with a professor named Professor Osborne. And she brought me aside, and I was raising my hand a lot and sharing my experience as a social media influencer, something that, again, still at this time was not really talked about. People didn't really talk about it. People didn't share their experiences. People didn't really respect it as a
Hmm.
job. And she thought it was really interesting. And she pulled me aside and she was like, "What's your major?" And I was like, "I don't have a major. Like, I just tore my ACL. I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing." And she's like, "Change your major to marketing. Like, you are a marketing professional." And I really thank that professor for giving me that push. I don't know if I would have found it on my own, but she gave me that push, and I realized that influencer marketing was a niche of marketing that was so untapped at the time. So it was so
Hmm.
untalked about, even though I knew that companies desperately wanted content creators, desperately wanted influencers, because it was such a cheap way to get so many impressions organically. So
Yeah.
that was when I started my business, and I started working with influencer marketing, social media marketing, user generated content, all in that
Hmm.
realm. And kind of grew the business from there. Originally started as a freelancer, just party of one, and
Yeah.
grew it from there into an agency of 15 plus people. We run an internship and mentorship program, which I'm very proud of. So that's kind of
Amazing.
how it grew from there, from having
Listen.
seizures and being bullied to a social media agency. I don't know.
Listen, I'm just going to stop you right there because if the listening audience and the viewing audience is not energized right now, I don't know what else to provide to energize you in your life. Like you're looking at a 25-year-old lady, a 25-year-old CEO, a 25-year-old social media influencer, and yet she has gone through so many things in her small, short-lived life right now, right? You've experienced so much. You've
Thank
experienced health
you.
issues. You've
Thank you.
experienced, mental health issues. You've experienced the physical issues, the bullying. You've experienced a lot at such a young age, but yet you're here. You're smiling. You're smiling because there is joy on the other side. There is, a way to find peace in doing the things that you are actually just great at doing. You can find a way to, create your own space, and now in your business you are very, very successful in business. Hello. um, as you were speaking, something came to me. Like, there's a quote, and it's not necessarily a quote, but it's just a saying: up against all odds, against the odds of the doctors telling you what you couldn't do. I applaud you for that. That's absolutely saying, okay, you saying what I can't do, but let me show you what I can do. I believe in myself. I believe that I can do it. And that's the attitude and the energy that we all should have as women. We should have that attitude of, I can do whatever it is that I'm putting my mind to. If I put my mind and my energy to it, I should be successful at it. If this is what I truly want to do in life, I'm going to, get the knowledge. I'm going to, up level my expertise. I'm going to be surrounded by those who can feed into me doing this thing. And so that's what you did. So kudos to you, Miss Madison. Again, you know, now, you mentioned that even now you still sometimes still deal with the mental health of all of the things that happened in our past. And that was something that I recently had to come to terms with as well, of what am I really dealing with? What's in my head? And for me, I don't really like talking about emotions because I do know that once you begin to talk, once you open up that box kind of hard to close it back. It's like that Pandora's box. You can never close it back once it's opened. Um,
Very
how do
true.
you deal? How do you deal when when you are feeling stressed, or when you may start to feeling a certain way? Are there triggers for you that you do know that now I need to just take a break? I need a moment to just calm myself down so that way I can be my best version of myself for my business. I have a whole business to run. How do you manage? How do you manage?
Yeah, I definitely still have that issue all the time. You know, I've recently been struggling with a lot of physical health issues again. My seizures have come back in full force. I actually am wheelchair bound for a lot of percentage of my life currently. And a lot of things I think externally can cause a lot of mental pain. And thinking about the past, thinking about the present, thinking about how maybe things don't measure up to exactly what you wanted for your future.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things definitely really, really affect me. And I think that something that I do and having a business, sometimes it feels almost like you have to put your professional career, your business, your clients wants, needs before your own. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that sounds so easy, but is so hard, is to put
Yeah.
yourself first always. And, you know, you're talking about if you put all of your all into something, then you're going to be successful. I truly believe that about every aspect of your life. And if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't nourish yourself, then there's going to be no you to be successful. You know, maybe
Exactly.
one day you have to pick between an obligation and going to take a walk. Maybe that's something that helps you. Maybe going to see a friend, going to a theme park, whatever makes you feel a little bit better. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
very hard decision. But something that I tell myself is that I need to do those things for myself to be able to be great for my clients, to be able
Yeah.
to be myself, the person that they want to work with, to be that person. Then I have to put myself first before them. And really doing that is doing a great for them.
Absolutely. I love that you said that. That self-care, that self-care has to be in place. If you're going to, one, operate at any level of life, but also operating a business and being successful, you definitely have to include self-care in as part of your daily journey, as well. So